When Jim Saxton announced his retirement from Congress after 24 years in Washington, Republicans in South Jersey began searching for his replacement. That process has now turned into a heated primary contest. Hello, I'm Jim Hooker. Welcome to this week's edition of On the Record. We'll be talking to the three men running in the 3rd Congressional District Republican primary. They are Ocean County Freeholder Jack Kelly, Medford Mayor Chris Myers, and former Tabernacle Committeeman Justin Murphy. We thank all three of you for joining us. The fact is that I went to Mr. Kelly's announcement, I went to your announcement, covered it for NJN News, both of them, and the fact remains that virtually every establishment Republican in Ocean County was there on behalf of Mr. Kelly, and every establishment Burlington County official that Republicans could muster was there for your candidacy. So you do have the two establishments battling each other, do you not?
No, not at all. You don't? I will tell you there is...
So who from, let's say, who from the Republican establishment in Burlington County is on your team?
There are a number of people who are inviting me. I'm not going to do it, but what I'm going to address is the issue.
You won't name the folks who are supporting you in Burlington?
Let me address the issue. The issue is that my base of support is definitely in Ocean County, and Chris's base of support would definitely be Burlington County, along with Justin.
Okay.
But the real issue is that each of us have to go forward with that challenge and go district-wide.
I understand that, but you're saying that it's not a regional race, and Mr. Myers is agreeing with you. And I saw, when I saw with my own eyes and read, is that the establishment in Ocean County is with yourself. The establishment in Burlington is with yourself. Mr. Kelly said he has some Burlington supporters, won't name them. How about yourself? Do you have Ocean County establishment supporters, and can you name them for us?
I think the key folks, and you can look at my Veterans Advisory Committee. We have folks across Ocean County and Burlington County, and we'll get you the press release. But veterans understand what it means to be concerned about veterans' issues in Washington. Across Ocean and Burlington, that's supporting me.
Let's turn to Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy, you talked about you're not an organization guy. You are on the line, correct me if I'm wrong, with U.S. Senate candidate Murray Sabrin.
That's correct.
Who is a former libertarian and is now running in the Senate primary. Would you say you're more of a libertarian stripe, or why did you want to be on a line with Murray Sabrin?
Well, I'm a Reagan Republican endorsed by Brett Schunder. That's how I pronounce myself this campaign. I'm very happy and honored to be with Dr. Sabrin. We have a great deal in common as far as limiting the scope of government in our lives, reducing the cost of government, using businesses and technology to find innovative and creative solutions. We're both pro-Second Amendment. We're both pro-life. I'm very happy to be with him. In fact, we have slates in both counties, Ocean and Burlington. And on the issue of Ocean versus Burlington, I think there's some effort here to make sure that that's not the case. But look, the bottom line is that is the case. You've got an Ocean County candidate versus a Burlington County candidate. Then you have me. I believe with the traditional...
And you're from Burlington County.
Tabernacle Township, Burlington County
right.
Also. I believe that I am the only candidate that has now demonstrated the ability to cross a very thick county line because I have support in both counties. I've got the traditional Republicans of organization that have backed me in Ocean County. That's a group that pulled almost 40% of the vote in Ocean County.
A traditional what organization?
Traditional Republicans of Ocean County.
Oh, okay.
They have pulled their candidate out of the race and endorsed me. Now that has given me the ability, I think, to have straddled that county line. So I have a base in each county.
Is that not an organization that you rail against? You talk about, in other words, you say
against the troop? No.
You rail against, or maybe I shouldn't use that characterization, but you speak out against organization politics, boss politics, as you said at the top of the show. And now you're saying that you have the support of an organization.
Yes.
Does that make you an organization man as well, or
no? Not in the sense.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference here is you have a county political organization with a county chairman elected by county committee people, and over the years, I think that system...
and what's your organization that you just mentioned is supportive of you?
Traditional Republicans of Ocean County. They're a group that is actually, I think, splintered from the Ocean County conventional machine, regular Republican organization. They ran candidates in last year's freeholders election and pulled almost 40% of the vote in Ocean County. They're very potent. And their endorsement, I'm very honored to have their friendship.
How are they not an organization like the other organizations
How are they not?
Criticize?
Well, they're certainly, I don't think they're in control as much as far as county contracts, money, and political influence and that type of thing.
Okay, we'll leave it. We've got to leave it there. Gasoline prices, record highs, $3.37 a gallon as we sit here and speak this Friday, possibly going to $4 by summer. Who has a plan here to help New Jersey families cope with this?
Long-term solution on the problem is we've got to invest in renewable energies. Now, in Medford Township, we've passed an ordinance that if you upgrade your house to renewable power, we waive all the fees. At the corporation I work for, I'm spearheading a solar power initiative. Again, so instead of just talking about renewable energies, I'm actually doing something about it. And I think that's what we need to do. The Congress has been way too slow to act on investment tax credits to start getting the energy. We have to reduce our dependence on foreign oil. What
do you say about when the Democrats, we had Rob Andrews here a week or so ago, and they talk about a big oil in a monopoly and imposing these prices upon us and enriching themselves. Are they partly to blame here? And if so, what would you do about it?
Again, I think the main problem is our reliance on foreign oil in the Mideast and OPEC countries and controlling the supply. We've got to get our economy off of that, maintaining such a key part of that.
Mr. Kelly.
Got to go to renewable energy.
We also need new refineries. We haven't built a new refinery in this country in 3 decades. And part of the issue is that we have to be able to turn that product into a product that's usable, and we need to do that. We also need to invest in new alternative energy sources, and we have to do that. As a member of Congress, I would be very much in favor of allotting resources to look at future energy sources.
Mr. Murphy?
I have been fortunate, as my second small business, to have been involved in business development for
What is your business?
American Energy and Utility Consultants. Business development for energy management projects, consumption, demand-side management, energy efficiency, participating in the development and siting of alternative fuel production. I've consulted the state of Delaware on their participation in the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. I'm very potent in a November election because I'm a Republican that's very well versed in energy and environment. Number one, I agree with Jack. We've got to build more refineries in this country. We do not put enough money into the infrastructure. Secondly, we've got more shale oil in our United States of America, 3 times the proven amount than reserves in Saudi Arabia. We've got to go get our own domestic supplies of energy, and we have them here.
Let's quickly go through the mortgage crisis and whether either of you have a plan or something that you would support in that area. And I don't mean quickly, but we have other topics to get to. So do you have some thoughts on the mortgage crisis?
Yeah, again, as I said before, the couple key issues is from an economy perspective, we've got to make sure that we're doing investments to create jobs. So when things like the mortgage crisis happens, we can be much more isolated from that if we have an economy and a House of Representatives that is passing tax policy that's focused on creating jobs. Specifically on the mortgage crisis, we've got to look at some regulations to make sure that the unscrupulous folks that did stuff don't do that again.
Okay, Mr. Murphy?
I think the most important thing we can do this November to show that the Republican Party can connect with a very concerned middle class about the economy is nominate me. I'm 42 years old. I have yet to purchase my first home, and it's through just economic struggle and being a small businessman and the income interruption and the debt and the stress that you incur from taking and choosing that way of life. I believe many things can be done. I agree with Chris. We've got to find, if companies did something wrong, illegally, yes, they should be punished. But let's not lose focus on people who jumped into a mortgage that, as working adults, should have had enough sense to realize I can't afford.
Okay. And
we
Mr.
need
Kelly?
to create an economy where people can afford to pay their mortgage, and that starts with controlling the appetite of Congress to spend money. I will tell you that one of the very first things I will support is to make the federal tax cuts permanent. Period.
For the wealthiest,
that has to be done.
1% of Americans as well, and if so, how do you defend
everyone, because I'll tell you how I defend it. The worst thing you can do to an economy that is stressed is to increase taxes. If you look in 2004, when the Democrats took control of that Congress, they started spending and taxing, and that's what's attacked our economy.
How do you compete with these types of sums?
Well, how I compete is I've been benefited by the dynamics of this race, and again, I want to point to the ability to have the support of this group in Ocean County that's really leveled the playing field. If you look at the numbers, if I can get a third of the vote in each county, I win.
All right.
I'm competitive that way.
All right.